Well, hi! How do you like this suit? Well, Merry Christmas, everybody. And I hope the items I talked to you about today on today's show will help you have cheer not only for Christmas and the holidays, but for the rest of your life. Cheer for yourself and cheers for others, because I'm going to talk about items you could use to help other people's lives today too, not only yourself. These are free sources of money and help on the internet, from the government, nonprofit organizations, and it's all out there. You know, it just takes effort. You know, many times you're not going to just make one phone call and get a check in the mail next Thursday, you know, to solve every problem in your life. But there are tools out there in our society that can get you a step and then another step and then another step to where you really want to be in life. And if you don't start taking those steps today, you'll never get there. So let Santa help you. Watch all these videos. Free cars for Christmas! Isn't that a great headline? Well, you just can't go to the mall and sit in Santa's lap and get one. But there are dozens, even hundreds of organizations around the country that give out cars for people. Because see, if you don't have a car to get to work, man, you're really in deep doo-doo, aren't you? So that's why the government supports it, nonprofit organizations support it, so people who need cars, either fixed up or new cars or whatever, to make sure that they can get to work. That's what it's for. And there's even one of these organizations that's called Cars for Christmas. And they're out in the Midwest or whatever. They have a bunch of offices out there. And they also help, you know, Cars for Heroes. See, I mean, this is vets coming back, you know, and they don't have a car to get to work and things like that. So that's why if you're struggling with finances and you need your car to get to work, check out one of these sites. Yeah, and they're all over the country. There's a couple of clearinghouses that, you know, keep track of a lot of these. One is called Working Cars for Working Families. So, I mean, that's it. See, they will make sure your car's working. And it could be a free car. It could be a loan to get a car if you have bad credit and you can't get even a car loan anywhere else. They have these kinds of programs, you know, where they lend you money because you can't get money anywhere else for a car. And they have reconditioned cars, they do. And they really take good care of people. And I've interviewed a bunch of these people. Here's another one called Ways to Work. .org. The other one is Working Cars for Working Families.org, and this is Ways to Work.org. And like I say, they're very helpful people. I've talked to them a bunch around the country, one here in town and also in the northwest area here, or northeast area. I don't even know where the heck I am. I guess Santa's a little foggy today, but Vehicles for Change. And I've interviewed this fellow, and we have an interview on our YouTube channel. So if you want to watch that interview, you can. That's vehiclesforchange.org. And Family Manners of Greater Washington, they're another one that part of that network, and we have an interview with them. Also, if you want to watch that on our YouTube channel, that's Matthew Lesko 70, you know, at YouTube channel. And another place, if you can't find the organizations through the website or whatever, you can always call 211. You know, that's a hotline, 211. Hey, say, hey, you know, my car broke. I'm looking for help to fix it. I don't have enough money. Or, hey, I don't even have a car and I got to get to work. You know, and it takes me 5 hours to get to work or whatever, the way I have to do. The way I have to do it on public transportation. It's killing me, killing my family or whatever. So ask them about programs. See, they're usually run by nonprofit. They get nonprofit money or they get to government money because all the state Department of Transportations usually have money for this kind of thing too, to fix up cars and to make sure folk get to work. And if transportation is solving a problem, because we don't have a good public transportation in a lot of places around this country. So that's why it's there. So remember, free cars for Christmas from Santa. Okay, now here's a smart guy. He came up with a great idea. He thought, no, just think if I sort of thought about a cool product. You know, I didn't have time to make it yet, but I'll put it on the internet and make like $100,000 in 30 days, and the people don't even have the product yet. because I'll ship it even after Christmas. But people be so excited, they'll buy it because they'll get it after Christmas, you know, and they'll get it, and I'll give them like a certificate. So like, hey, you're gonna get this, you know, put it under the tree, so they know when they open it up under the tree, they say, wow, look what I'm gonna get. I'll be the first in my room, in my community to get one of these things. This is what this guy did, and it's called the Fun in a Box. It's a neat cooler, and something you take to the beach or out in the backyard. It got everything but iron your pants. So watch this. Well, Ryan Grepper! I don't know, we should call you Ryan Blender instead. You got a cooler with a blender that makes music. It has a light in it. It opens beer for you. Everything but shine your shoes, it seems.
It's a party in a box.
What'd you call it?
A party in a box.
Party, yeah. I mean, it's a whole party right there. So you bring this to the beach or a tailgate party, and you're set. But you're really in the stage of developing, right? You got your prototype out. You're on Kickstarter raising money. And you're doing terrific, man. You got almost like 200 and something backers already that are doing this thing. But you were telling me that this is really an old idea of yours. You're just making a hell of a lot better, huh?
Yeah, you know, well, there's just so much room for improvement in coolers. And as I was telling you, I know how much fun it is to have a cooler with music and to have blended drinks at the beach with me, because I made both of these for myself years ago. I took my old car stereo and I put it in a cooler years ago, and that was fun. And then I took a weed whacker engine and I made my own pull start gas powered blender. And both of these were great fun, but you know, it's been probably 4 years or so now that we've got kids since I pulled these out. And so this summer, both of them failed on me. The batteries on this giant, they were dead. And that gas-powered thing, gas was no good, and I couldn't get that started. So I said, you know what? Technology has come a long way in the last 9 years, and I'm going to make this streamlined and easy to take anytime I want to leave the house.
So you're doing this because you're a selfish guy, right?
No, you know, that's exactly it. I wanted to be able to easily show off how awesome it was any place I went. So that's how it came about.
But now, everybody with tailgates, everybody has one of these things. But now somebody could have one of these things that's really useful instead of just looks like a block or something. But what's interesting to me, at least on the Kickstarter campaign, is you get this almost half off. You know, by buying it now, like for Christmas, even though you still haven't made thousands of them yet, but being one of the first on the block, you get a hell of a deal.
That's the key to Kickstarter. You say, I'm reaching out to my people, my tailgaters, the thousands and thousands of tailgaters, saying, you know what, help support this Kickstarter. Take a look at this product that you know intuitively would be so much fun at the next tailgate, and help me kickstart this into a real product. Help me make this coolest idea the coolest product, and then we get this made, and it's really win-win because I get to use that capital to kickstart this venture and pay for the tooling. There's a lot of expensive tooling and molds that go into a product of this size, and to make it as fantastic as I need to.
But they become like your investors, besides getting the first coolest blender in the world, the party in the box, they really become almost like a partner with you in doing all this. Yeah,
they kind of do, because they get to be involved from the get-go. They're kind of emotionally invested, and they say, you know what, I saw this before it existed, and I said I want this both for the physical product and because I want to help kickstart a new product out into the world. Let me help start a new American business and help get this out in the world, and help kind of the little guy compete with the big guys. I mean, the cooler market is something in the lines of $650 million are spent in coolers every year.
Wow, that's almost $500 million just in coolers. Right, so you get 10% of that and you'll be all right, huh?
I'll take 5. I'm not a greedy person, and I'll share it with everyone.
But that's amazing. I mean, that's what it's the value proposition on something like this. You get it before anybody else. You're one of the first kids on the block. But now for Christmas, even though it won't be here for Christmas, you got a neat idea where people could give it as a gift too, because you send out this special, what is it? What are you sending people?
Well, what we're doing is we're trying to make this really easy, because we still need to get this product made. But what we're doing is giving you something that you can easily give to that person. No one wants to just say, here's a printout of this page and here's a picture of it. We've got a whole great looking poster that you can print out as a PDF and you can use that as a gift. And we've got a link to this special video, kind of an opening, an opening ceremony. The whole video really is really framed around what a great gift giver this person is. So really building them up, kind of taking a little bit of fun with it. But and the great thing is if you give it for Christmas, you get really 3 times the thanks of any other gift. You get thanked by the person who you're giving the gift to because it's an awesome product. So there's one. You get thanked by me because you helped kickstart my dream project and get this out into the world. So there's 2. And next August, when the cooler ships and shows up at their house, and they open up the box and they say, "This is fantastic. Come over for some cocktails."
You're getting thanked again. But you've been doing this for a long time, Ryan, haven't you? I mean, inventing ideas. And do you consider yourself a professional inventor or what?
You know, I do. I think when I've licensed over a half dozen products. I brought a couple products to market on my own. One of those was that luggage scale that was in SkyMall for a couple of years. And I've been wanting to help other people. I've been wanting to learn more about this crowdfunding opportunity because it truly is such a new opportunity and it's a new pathway to get people's ideas out from their head and on to the store shelf.
Is this your first crowdfunding?
This is my first crowdfunding venture, but I really went into this trying to learn as much as I could beforehand, and then also learn as much of it as I can through the process, and to really take that information, understand it, and then through my Inventor Blueprint training program.
Well, even though you're not, so your Inventor Blueprint is really where you train other inventors to go through this process. So now, and you're not finished with Kickstarter yet, but you're going to be, it looks like a home run, no problem, and you have, what did you think that was the biggest surprise about doing it that you didn't know until you got halfway through it?
Well, I got to say that first day in Kickstarter is a pretty exciting process. I mean, I decided to do this. I said, let's see. This is what I want to do. I researched. We knew what we needed to do for the video. We launched, and it's that unknown. I mean, you put all this effort and energy into it, but you really don't know what's going to perform. The things you think are just home runs, we're going to really get some traffic, we're going to reach out, we're going to get connected, this is a great fit, bring nothing. And then what you think is going to really, it's like, oh yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and do that as well to help spread the word a little bit for the marketing. That's the home run thing, and that's what ends up bringing you a lot of your traffic. So it's really this unknown. Every day you don't quite know who's going to pick you up, what media outlet might be running a story, who's mentioned you in a blog, what kind of traffic is coming in, and then we're always testing everything else we can to just.
So in other words, all the things you're saying that all the things you thought were going to be really home runs weren't, but then other things that you didn't even know about came.
Yeah, I mean that when you look at and you research some of these other Kickstarter campaigns, some say, okay, all of our traffic came from Facebook. Other ones say all of it came from Twitter. Other ones say all of it came from reaching out to our friends, and other people say, I don't have a clue where it went. We just launched it, and then somehow we have 6 figures in funding, and that's a little bit of the surprise because you just need to be able to. I think with any crowdfunding launch, you need to be able to go into it with a strategy for how you're going to drive traffic to your page, because that's one thing that Kickstarter or Indiegogo, any other platform, isn't there to give you that traffic. You've got to make sure you're bringing it in, but also you've got to be able to adapt on a daily basis because you never know what's going to work and what needs some tuning and what you can do to keep driving that.
So to me, it sounds like the bottom line is just effort, man. You just got to be doing something, even though you don't know what the hell works.
Yeah. It's every day you got to do something and get feedback from others. I mean, that's one of the most valuable tools you can do. And that's a great thing about Kickstarter and crowdfunding in general is that when you launch your product, you're getting that feedback on your idea. You might think this is the greatest idea in the world, but when people are actually, voting with their wallet, that's the most sincere review you can get.
That's why I hate about showing my stuff to friends and family. They never bought my kind of stuff anyway. What? Go to the real customers, see what they say. If they put up money, man, you got a winner. So that's why Kickstarter, you not only got the money to do one, this is sellable. And because you already sold it, and you got hundreds and hundreds of people who bought this thing,
Yeah, that's exactly. We actually did something that was kind of fun this last week, and I went down and we took our coolest prototype to a couple of tailgates.
Oh.
Man, these are our target market. We said, okay, we know that there's a big market in tailgate. This is a great fit, and that was again that validation. So it was just kind of one of these marketing strategies to get the eyeballs there, was going out into the physical world and showing it off.
Right in the lion's den, asking what the people like tailgating is all about. Well, that's terrific, Ryan. It's just a wonderful product. There's so many great things, and it's wonderful to hear that you've been using something like this for years and finally want to share it with everybody else. And also, you said that you're going to give instructions on how to people make this themselves, right?
When I first started this thing, I said, you know what? This is something that I'm making for myself, but I actually captured images along the entire process of putting the first prototype together.
Right.
And because one of my favorite websites for teaching other people how to do things is a site called Instructables. It's a great DIY site.
Right. No, that's right. I'm going to look at it now. I think that what you're doing, sharing that information with people, is a wonderful thing from the heart to give. This is not only money, it's just what you really want to do in life. But to get to your thing, it's coolestkickstarter.com, right?
That'll take you right there.
Yeah, and for Christmas you get a big discount. Make your friends happy. Anybody who likes to go to a tailgate party, they need this, because they could also get their car Simonized and their pants.
Yeah. Well, or those campers, or anyone who's into smoothies and health drinks, or
Outside in the back, you don't have electricity. You got it all.
I mean, hey, even if you're this far from the TV, you can just make your drinks right here.
Yeah, a good lazy guy like me. Thank you so much, Ryan. Take care. And that's coolestkickstarter.com, right?
That's it. We'll see you there.
Okay, thank you. See, now that's one way to make $125,000 in like 30 days, and you don't even have anything to do for it yet. And that's what this life is: going on the internet and doing things like that, and thinking of new creative ways to do things. It's a whole different world out there, and you just got to learn how to use it and start writing this tagger that's out there and take advantage of it. Okay, now here's another Christmas goodie you may not know about. Man, you or maybe one of your friends may be one of the 9 million people now who are going to now get free health care under the Obamacare stuff. That's right. They're increasing the amount of income you could have so you could get what they call Medicaid. If you ever tried for Medicaid, usually it was really like for real poor people, and you probably didn't qualify. Well, now 9 million people are going to be eligible under the new Obamacare guidelines they're talking about. And so, God, you may know somebody might be making $32,000 a year, because that's the income cutoff for most of the states that have this. So, you got to check that. 9 million people, man. That's saving you a lot of money. Now, even if you're not, at $32,000, then you could go up to $90,000 and still get up to like $11,500 cash from Uncle Santa to pay for your health care. See, that's what's in this Obamacare stuff. And they're figuring out the website, I guess, a little better. I was helping some friends, this week on it, 2 people. And I got through it a couple of weeks ago. it was hell. But now it seems to be worthwhile. And see, the deadline, if you want to start your insurance by January 1, my understanding now, the deadline is December 23rd. So 2 days before Christmas, you gotta get that in. But you could start the 2nd of January. Oh, I don't know if that's the government calling or what, but I'll leave it alone. So you have till the end of March to apply for health insurance. So if you don't want to struggle with it now over the holidays, wait for a while. You just won't be covered right away at January 1 like the people who get in before December 23. So that keeps changing though, so keep an eye out here or anywhere else about that stuff. And oh, look, and Verizon's calling me for some terrific thing. And I think that I used to think the government was a bureaucracy. Man, have you ever seen their phone bills? Merry Christmas.
Calling for just $32.99 a month with a
Are you a handy kind of person? Maybe you like doing stuff with your hands and making stuff? Like, I got a friend who loves pottery and stuff like that. Look what he made. It's a teapot, but it's a reverse teapot. You know, he made this out of pottery. Or maybe you just like making doilies or pot holders or something like that. Well, here's an interview of a photographer who all of a sudden said, hey, I think I like making furniture. So he figured out how to make furniture that he thinks is cool. You know, I mean, that's neat stuff. So if you have, you know, things you really want to do and make and give something special to the world, this is what he did. And then what he did was go on the internet to raise like $10,000 so he could finish his project. Yeah, because he got money off the internet to help him make these cool looking furniture and then also get customers. All in one thing. So it costs him almost nothing to do that. See, there's so many ways to start a whole new career because you just like making stuff. Watch this. Well, Levi Christensen, right? Man, this furniture you're making is just cool. You know, and made here in the United States, it looks like it floats around the room. You know, I mean, in your literature, you say this is great for, you know, the Southwest or down in Phoenix. But I think it's cool anywhere, man. I'm from up north and an urban guy, and I would love this in my place. What made you get into furniture making?
Furniture, you know, I was a photographer first, and I realized sitting down thinking about shoots all the time, I was really into using the space in a three-dimensional way. And then I was also just fascinated. Furniture is so intimate, and it's something we all need. And that in combination with, I have Scandinavian roots. My grandfather is Danish, and so part of that design is just in my blood. So it was just an outlet that was perfect for me. It's one of the only things that you can be totally crazy and just have so many ideas, but there are limitations because it has to have a certain function, and I just think that's really fascinating.
You mean, so you have to sit on it, or it has to hold books, or all this other kind of stuff. But no, as you say, the photographer, so as a photographer, I guess when you're saying that, what's come to mind, you're working with a little block of area to put things in there in the photograph, and what you're saying, here we live in the same kind of block in the room, and we got to put stuff in there too, huh?
I think you just put it way better than I could have.
Because I don't know what I'm talking about. That's
you know, we all live in really similar spaces, and we all need the same things to be comfortable in that space, and you know, we need a bed and we need a place to sit.
Right. So in other words, so your furniture, so it's really because it says, you know, square as any other table, but because it looks like it's floating, it's really not taking up the same amount of space, or in a way, at least visually, or something like that, right? In your mind.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of that came from just growing up in the Southwest, and you know, we have such big skies out here, and watch little wispy clouds roll by, and you know, it was just something a little different. You know, you don't see too many chairs that just look like they're sitting there on their own, or you know, that they don't have something supporting them. So,
but your furniture now is all like custom made almost with you, right? And you're offering it for people. You just started offering it only on Kickstarter, and people could get the first pieces of this and some of the things like at discounts and stuff like that, and they won't be able to get this price. And in 1 week, you got halfway to your quota already.
Yeah.
Wow, you got a lot of rich relatives, or what?
No, you know, I just did my best using a lot of social media tools to just give little sneak peeks and to build some anticipation and say, okay, it's finally here.
Right.
You know, and you can only get it at this one place, and it's discounted, and this is a chance to be a part of this in the beginning. So, you know, I want people to feel like they're a part of what I'm doing in the beginning, and this is a great way, I think, to do it.
Well, that's what your video, and people should see at least that, to see how you, I mean, had one career as a photographer and got a passion for designing furniture, the people that really want something unique, and devoting your life to this now, and that comes across in your video, and that's why if people do anything, they should see that video, and then plus, then by buying one now, you really get a chance of being the first one off this thing, because with this kind of passion, you know you're going to make it happen, so all the bumps in the road, man, you're going to find a way over, around them, because we all have difficulties in life, and I think the people who stop are the ones that really don't want to be there anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that kind of passion, you're going to get over any hurdle. So people, if they act now, will really have something that's really going to grow, because.
Yeah. This is. I'm busting through the crust, and I'm
right.
this is
and it's reasonable. It's not like, I mean, God, I don't know about you, but well, you probably know more than I do. I go to these furniture stores; they want thousands and thousands of dollars for a little end table or something, and your stuff is so cool looking. And God, I mean, with the plexiglass and the steel rods, and then, then plus besides, it doesn't look like Jetson furniture or something like that. When I describe it, because the wood is so authentic and real, and I don't know how you find this stuff, but
a lot of hunting around.
Right.
Yeah, some good resources out here.
And it's all going to be made in the States, no matter what, right?
Yeah, it's all, for the most part, right now made within 5 miles of my house.
Wow.
Where I live, but I don't ever want production of anything that I do to leave the borders of the United States, unless it's
right.
Italy or Scandinavia.
I see. Somebody really makes that stuff.
Yeah,
well, I think we're coming back. I mean, people like you, I mean, that was, to me, was Europe had design. We didn't care about design. But if young people like you are starting to care about design so much, and it seems, and people like Steve Jobs, he got it in our system a little, that he was selling design versus functionality. And you're part of this new trend, I feel, that is coming in America, that we're going to be interested in design because of you. You're not following a trend, you're making it and showing us how important that is.
Yeah.
And that's what I think we're going to be. Italy and Denmark going to watch out. We got Norwegians here making the hell of that.
We got a lot of Norwegians here. Well, I think there's so many ways to share things on the internet to show people what you're doing, and I think that's really sparked a lot of hey, I want stuff to look cool, or I want something unique, or I want this, because in an instant on Instagram you can take a picture of how cool your living room is, and then, everybody's jealous and now they want it.
Well, it is. I mean, that's how I wear clothes. I mean, I could wear a gray suit from Sears, I guess, but man, this is me in my life. So furniture, that's what you're living, and why can't it be like that? And the only way you could be that if we get people like you to make this for us, because you can't take a cheap suit like I can and just put question marks on it. Furniture is a little different than that.
There's a few more steps there.
Right. So thank God we have you out there giving us this wonderful stuff, and it's so elegant too, besides being modern, but it's elegant and it's earthy, so you feel part of life when you see this furniture. It's not something remote that we can't relate to, and I guess that's because of the wood that's involved in all this stuff. And that it's so. I appreciate very much what you're doing, and it's nice to have you, Levi, and find you, and I hope more people appreciate what you're doing, and to find you. Okay, so we go to Levi Christiansen, right? So it's LeviChristiansen. See, I had to read it. .com, right? And so you can even get the Kickstarter program from there, right? The project, and that will be there forever. So if you miss the Kickstarter, you'll have to pay more, but you'll still have it for people, right?
It'll feel that much better,
right? Well, thank you so much, Levi. You're a great American, or Norwegian, or whatever, a person to have in the world to help us appreciate what's right in front of our nose. And thank you so much. Take care.
You do. Talk to you soon. Thanks.
See, so what are you going to make? I just make trouble most of the time. I don't know if I could, get money for doing that. Probably get money to keep me away from doing that. There's always something for somebody. Boy, the internet is Christmas for these two guys. Almost every day. Now listen, they just came out with a new hidden speaker. It's like a hidden radio speaker that hooks up to your cell phone or your iPod or your Android or whatever. You don't even know it's a little speaker with incredible sound. And in 4.5 hours, now they don't even have it made yet. It's not available, but they talk about it on the internet, on a crowdfunding site, and they get like $100,000 in 4.5 hours. Count them, 4.5 hours. And this is actually the second time they did it. A little while back, they went on the internet and did another version, an earlier version of this speaker, and they got $1 million. I mean, yeah, $1 million out of it. Wow, $1 million. So you can make $1 million on the internet, not even have the product, and do it in like 60 days. All right, 60 days and you get $1 million. Where else in the world are you going to get that? This is what's kind of happening in our country now. I mean, if you were starting a business and you went out to try to find investors and things like that, maybe you're lucky enough to find somebody to give you $1 million, but then you'd have to go out and find out if somebody's going to buy your thing or not. And then you have to prove that before you really have a business. Now here's a way, see what they did, they went out and got $1 million on the internet from potential customers. Customers come and see, say, hey, that's cool what you want to build. Here, I'll help you build it, I'll buy one. And they give you money, and what's neat about it's another Christmas for you if you buy things like that, because it's usually like almost 50% off. I mean, usually 30, 40, 50% off the price after they're finished, producing it. But because you're first, you be the first on the block with something brand new, nobody's else seen in the world, and you get one of the first, and you get it at an incredible discount. It's cheaper than Walmart or anywhere else. But look at the $1 million opportunity. Wow, an idea, and you put something on the website. It may take you a couple hours or a couple days even. Who cares? Where else are you going to make that kind of money? I know of no government application that gives you $1 million to do something. I mean, they do, but it's not for a consumer kind of related item. If you were inventing a new cure to cancer, maybe there's there's money around that for you. But Santa Claus is hanging around the corner somewhere, and it's usually somewhere on the internet nowadays. So you got to learn how to use it. So watch this. Watch how they did this. Well, John Van Den Nieuwenhuizen, man, you got this hidden radio too. I mean, it's like a magic symphony for a speaker that you could carry around for your, cell phone, right? Anywhere. But you're coming out with a new version. You had this a couple of years ago, and now you're back on Kickstarter. Man, and you got $100,000 in 4 hours. Why do people want this one more than your last one?
I think because, we've taken the same great design, but then under the hood, we've changed everything, and, we've added incredible sound to the new one. It's really the best in its industry. And on top of that, we've got multi-speaker effects where you can link a couple up together.
Wow. You mean like more than one even?
Yeah. Exactly. Wow. You can spread them around the house. To open the cap, you just tap the top or hit play on your iPhone, and the cap automatically rises up. So it's got a whole lot of new functionality that people seem to love.
No, I mean, all the little cheesy speakers you hear, I mean, it bothers me. Like my PC or anything, there's nothing. So this is something that really gives an incredible sound, and the price is like next to nothing. But more importantly, actually, now at Christmas time, this would be a great gift at Christmas, right? Because it's a bargain price, if you're one of the first ones to get this stuff, right?
Yeah, definitely. And you're also, you're pre-ordering a speaker essentially on Kickstarter, but you're also buying into a project, and you get to follow the progress and learn. It's rare that, let's say when Apple develop a product, you can follow their process as they're doing it, but people get to follow and every step we take and learn through our eyes of how we do everything. And then at the end, you get a great product.
Well, so that accent you have is not from New Jersey, right? Where are you from?
From Australia.
Australia. And your partner is from where?
He's from Brazil, but he lives in Milan now.
Oh, Milan now. Now, both of you guys met working in Milan as industrial designers. Is that where you met?
Yeah, we were both working for the Motorola design studio out there, and that was almost 12 years ago now. And yeah.
And now you're doing your own thing, and you say goodbye to Motorola. You don't need them anymore, right? But you made $1 million on Kickstarter your first time, man. That's amazing. What did Motorola say? They want the money, part of the money, or what?
Well, we left. Both of us left Motorola about I think 7 years ago, and then since then we've been working at different corporations, and when the first project went big, we obviously left our jobs and focused 100% on Hidden, and and that was it.
So now when you put your site on Kickstarter, I mean, not doing, developing the speaker, but actually the mechanics of Kickstarter, was that difficult to learn, or how was that process?
They've got a great platform, it's really, and they do a lot to educate the backers of what to do and what not to do. So Kickstarter are pretty good, and then it's really, once you put it on there, that's a platform, and they have a lot of unique visitors, but you need to then go and get out there and work with the press and tell people.
You have to talk to idiots like me to hope.
Not so much, but it's kind of it's like you can't just put it on there and hope it will do well. You have to get out there, and then with the journalists, to be honest, they get hundreds of Kickstarter projects each week, and they're just like, well, why should I bother? And so you've got to try to find a way to stand out and show something interesting.
And what do you think about your product that makes them compelled to talk to you? I mean, obviously it worked, whatever you're doing, because if you make $1 million doing it.
I think there's a couple of things. It's like everyone's always asking us, well, what's the secret? Yeah, unfortunately there isn't one. I wish there was. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but I think there's two things. I think obviously the first one, people really love the design. That's been something just seeing the image, people are very curious about what it is. As this beautiful minimalistic speaker. But then on top of that, a big part of design is storytelling, and we work very hard on how we map out the video, the script, what words we use, and how we communicate that. And that's one of the great things you learn in design, and especially working for big companies where you're always selling your designs and trying to show people why it's superior to something else, new cell phone, new computer, whatever. And so that's a big part of the process, is the storytelling.
I see. Well, I guess if you were back at Motorola when they were doing the razors, and they had to convince the other people why their new phone was better than anybody else, and I guess that's a delicate thing sometimes, how you do that, huh?
It is. It's I think it's at the end of the day, I think it's about also being authentic. Some people they won't play it up enough. They're like, hey, it's a nice product, but they won't sell it enough. But then some people will oversell it, like it's the it's the greatest
cure cancer, right?
It's finding that perfect middle zone that's exciting, tells a good story, it makes you want to be engaged, but it's also got to be sincere. And I think that's the thing with Kickstarter, because people are back the project. It's not like going to a store and buying a product. So there has to be a very sincere message.
But also they're seeing you and your partner who developed this thing, and it's in your soul, and it shows when you talk about it, instead of when you were working for Motorola that you were selling somebody else's, right?
I think a lot of people like that because, even though we're the co-founders, we're still very much involved in all the aspects of what we're doing, whereas, if you buy a product from a big company, you don't know who's doing what. And I think Steve Jobs was the only one who put any personality to running a company. And others try to do it, but it's not convincing, or it's not sincere.
No, you're right. No, you're right. And I guess that's why it's so neat to be able to buy something that you've poured your heart into probably for the last 5 years or so, and to see you talk about it and to get a piece of that heart almost, that we're getting when we see you and this elegant speaker. I mean, you can't even tell it's a speaker. I don't know what you think it is, but it's just beautiful. You want to be around it for some reason. And it's called the Hidden Radio 2. And actually, we could get it really, because people will be hearing this later. So hiddenradiodesign.com is a good place to find you all the time, right?
Absolutely. hiddenradiodesign.com, or just head over to Kickstarter and type in Hidden Radio 2, and either way, and you'll find us.
And really, it's a good bargain now, but it is a Christmas present that could be delivered later, right? Could you give your friend a wonderful gift at a bargain price, and they'll be one of the first ones to have it, right? Well, wonderful. Well, wonderful, John. Thank you so much for being there and bringing your talents to our country and sharing these wonderful designs with us. We need it.
Thanks a lot for the time. Cheers. Thank you.
So start taking your idea, and use the Santa Claus that's out there now. all these internet sites that help you do this. It's all being worked out. It's going to grow, I think, only more and more every year. And the sooner you start learning it, the sooner you start realizing you have a great tool to do things that you really want to do in life. Okay, now here's an interesting way to give back to the community, to give back to somebody you can relate to help somebody to change their life with a little effort on your part, and it doesn't cost you a nickel. How do you like that? It doesn't even cost you anything, just a few clicks of a mouse, and you're able to do that. That's right. There's a new website. That's not new. It's been around for years, actually. That was really was used in other developed countries for people to get money to start little entrepreneuring projects. So you could get, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, or whatever, and you raise it through the crowds. But it's a loan. And what's neat about this, it's called Kiva. That's the website. And watch this video, because this woman did it. She cares so much about entrepreneurs in this country and other countries helping themselves up by the bootstraps. All they need is a little money to do that. And what's neat about this site, because you're really lending them the money, and you're worried about, are these real people or not? And you could lend them just $25. That's it, just $25, and they could get on their way. I mean, it's so important to a small business where they only need 1,000, so he gets 100 people giving him $10 a piece, and he's there. Or she's there. So that's how this works. It's the power of crowds. So you putting in a little money and getting the money back originally, so you give it to somebody else for them to have an opportunity. Now, what a great country if we're all helping each other with a little bit of money, and they could get the new vehicle, the new PC or whatever they need to really start a business or whatever, whether it's in this country, and they're vetted. Vetted means like somebody investigated that little entrepreneur who sits in their kitchen table like me, or whoever it is. There's a nonprofit organization that will check out these businesses to make sure they're real, and they have a 99% success rate. That means 99% of the people get their money back. So you have hardly any risk. You could take $25 and give $5 to 5 different people to help them along the way. And what a wonderful Christmas gift for everybody. Not only you, the power of giving, but them too, to get something, what they need to really change their life. So watch this video and see how you could take advantage of this too. And you may want to get money from this, or you may want to give money to this. Well, Susan Bender Phelps, I don't know if people know this, but we've met before, and I've interviewed you because you got nice help from nonprofit and government assistance to start your consulting business. And now you have the successful consulting business, OdysseyMentoring.com, where you really train people how to mentor and help organizations and individuals and everything like that, right? But I want to talk about how you're saving the world for $25.
Thank you.
I just think this is the neatest thing that you're doing. I mean, you found this an online crowdfunding site called Kiva, right?
Yes.
And you really help entrepreneurs all across the country now. Almost with very little money, and it's a loan to do what they want to do in life, just like you're doing, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
And
what?
they all pay back.
And you get paid back. So really, for as little as $25, you could go and small entrepreneurs like you and I or whatever that need funding to do things in life, come to this site and tell you what you need funding for, and then you help support it and you get paid back, huh?
Yes, and truly, you can do loans as little as $5.
$5? No, there's so
You can give as much as you have
Yeah.
to give, but literally, you can get started making a difference for a small business owner for $5.
Wow. What a Christmas gift. Not only that, you're giving $5 or $25 or $100 to small businesses who really need it, but it's for yourself. Could you imagine you see the person who really needs that and what they need to grow their little business or hire somebody else or get a new truck? Like you said, you're an exterminator, right?
Yes.
How did he do it? What did he do?
Well, Eric owns a company that is a pest control company that uses the most environmentally friendly chemicals that you can get, and he left being a stockbroker.
Oh, really?
Yes. And he uses environmentally friendly vehicles, and he is part of an incubator here in Oregon, and they actually became part of the Kiva Zip project.
I see.
Where they will vet a small business to make sure that they have the ability to pay back the loan, that they're doing business in a good way, that they have what it takes to succeed. And then they become a partner. So when you look up a business, you can see who their community partner is.
I see. So it's not just, some guy in a basement trying to get, $1,000 from you.
Correct. And Eric needed a loan to buy his second vehicle to grow his business. And I thought it was a great idea. Plus, I pay him to get rid of certain bugs around my house. It was the perfect match.
Wow.
And I just made the loan a couple of months ago when he entered into this. He made his full goal. He was able to buy the vehicle. And now when I log on at Kiva and I go to my account, I can see that he's already paid me back 21 cents.
Really?
Right?
But now you're part of his life in a way, aren't you?
Exactly.
And you see him grow.
You can send him messages, attaboy. You can also talk to the other investors who have invested and see who they are and what they do.
Wow.
And just yesterday I invested in a woman named Sharon who has an author support services.
Oh, I see.
I'm an author.
You need support.
Great thing. So I loaned her $25 toward her goal to take a class that will get her certified as a virtual assistant.
Wow.
She's in Houston, Texas.
Well, when you go on your author's tour in Houston, Texas.
Exactly.
By the way, what's the name of your book, Susan?
My book is called Aspire Higher, and it's actually true stories of business and career mentoring success.
Cool. No, we all need help, man. And I think the nicest thing in life is to give help as a mentor, if you're not investing in yourself, if you're doing well enough, then you have to invest in other people. I think that's the purpose of life, yeah.
And it turns out that when you mentor someone, you actually get as much, possibly even more than the person you're mentoring.
Absolutely. It's a selfish act.
Walk your talk, you end up having breakthroughs too.
Absolutely. What I love about helping anybody else, I hear what I believe Sometimes I'm not strong enough to do it, but when I try to help somebody else, I'm really telling them what I believe, not what I do, because your environment, sometimes it's hard to do what you really believe.
Yes.
And so that's what I love hearing when I believe, and that only comes out when I'm trying to help somebody. But now you're not only helping people through your mentoring, consulting business, but also through giving, and it's not even giving, it's lending, and you're getting all the money back. Yeah.
Exactly. Which gives me the opportunity to then lend it again.
Yes.
I'm
Wow.
not in this to make money at it. I'm in it to continue
Right.
this path of empowerment that I've set upon. I want to get my book in as many people's hands so that they find out the best, most effective way they can mentor or be mentored. I love giving through Kiva because it just lights me up.
Oh,
I
you
get
see,
excited.
and so the people who need money are trying to do things. So actually, it's connecting with people who are trying to accomplish things in life, and that's exciting to me.
Exactly.
People who are sitting back in a chair and just complaining about life. These are people trying to do something. So you get involved in them doing something, and that encourages you. Hey, why don't I do more?
And they raise the bar for everyone.
Yes. Yes.
Growing businesses is the best way I know to help us turn our country in a direction we want it to go, to give people the American dream.
Right. And control your life too. As a small business person, you're certainly going to work more, but you have control of your life. I mean, you're doing it because you really want to. So working is tough.
One day.
You're right. But I see Kiva, I was reading on their website that they've given, $500 million already. God, I mean, that's that's more than the government, it seems. The
government gives it to farmers,
Right.
big agribusiness. They give it to big corporations. But us little guys, there are some government grants and loans, and you're the guy to go. You're the go-to guy for finding out about those.
But this sounds easier, doesn't it?
You would think, but I really love this idea of having a community partner, an organization that understands economic development and business in your community, who can look at your business and say, this one is worth investing in. And then by the time you're up on Kiva, you've gone through a bunch of hoops.
So you got the holy water already, and you're pretty. You've been done it. So there are people also you could learn from. So you as another entrepreneur, seeing somebody doing something, that gives you an idea about what you could do. And so you for as little as $25, you're doing all this. That's what I got. But you mentioned something that you could give gift cards for Christmas.
Yes, or birthdays.
Hanukkah, anything.
New Year's.
Right.
Whenever you're moved to give a gift, this is a gift that, one, allows the person you're giving it to make a difference.
Right.
It also informs them about this whole new world of making a difference.
Right.
And I think it's a little addictive.
Yeah. Like home shopping, or something. But so we have a place now where, especially in the holidays, you want to give somewhere, and you're worried about all these big, the cancer and the things you can't relate to as much. But here's a way to give, and you don't even give it's a loan, but you're helping somebody inspire and succeed and everything at a small donation, and you get the money back. What could be better than that?
And people can borrow as little as $500 to $1,000, and as much as $10,000.
Wow. Yeah.
It may be a harder sell to get 10,000, but the businesses that I'm looking at are asking to raise, this woman, Sharon, she needed $5,450.
Wow.
And she's got 34% of it raised.
Wow,
she
so
needs
she's on her way.
$3,575 to go.
Good for her. So, watching that tote machine go,
But real time.
Right. Oh, that's wonderful. No, it's such a great thing in life, and it's really other humans, helping individually, which is better than some big middleman or something. And who knows where that money goes. Well, you're a delight, Susan. Thank you so much for doing
Oh,
this.
my pleasure,
and
Matthew. I
sharing.
think what you do is so important
Oh.
because really being able to find the resources that can
Yeah.
help you,
Yeah, that's
whether
it.
it's a government grant,
Right.
a government program,
Right.
or a project like Kiva.
Right.
It
So it's either
empowers-
Kiva.com for that, but for you, for Susan, it's OdysseyMentoring.com.
Yes.
Look at the book.
All right, my pleasure. Thank you so much.
You're a delight. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Now, isn't that cool? I mean, there's so many things going on in this country. I mean, when you look at non-traditionals, you don't go to a traditional bank. They're not going to give any of these people money, right? Because they don't. Because they need the money. Banks are for people who don't need money. And that's why there's so many new ways now to solve problems, to do things in life. We're all here for such a short time. So use these tools that are out there to help you do something for yourself, for your community, and everybody. You're happier, you're able to love more, and people are able to love you more too.